Welcome back to Crypto Meets AI. Jerry here with an update for you. Do me a favor, friends. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and comment down below. Now let's get into this. And it's pretty amazing to see Ripple has so many announcements pending that it announced the launch of Ripple Prime in the US and the acquisition of Palisade one day before Ripple Swell. It's probably because it's the least important announcements out there. Most people can't even imagine the financial monster that Ripple will become, and obviously it will be thanks to XRP. The XRP Ledger will have the entire DeFi ecosystem built right on top of the ledger through Evernorth. Let's hear what he has to say.
In the future at Evernorth is also plug into the DeFi ecosystem. We can earn yield on that treasury. Now you think about how hard that is for individuals, even for myself as a crypto, OG as they call, it is a lot to unpack to participate in the DeFi ecosystem. What I'm excited about is bringing that with a couple of clicks. You can go add the stock, but then you get exposure to all that great goodness that could potentially be coming down the line in the DeFi ecosystem. But to start, we're going to go and earn yield on the treasury using traditional methods. And so, we'll have a blend, but when the DeFi ecosystem starts to grow and mature with the right kind of controls, we'll be ready to participate in that ecosystem. And we want to build that right on top of the ledger, XRP Ledger.
You have to see what they're building here. They're building a complete ecosystem where interoperability is key with all these other blockchain technologies. HBAR, XLM, XDC, Quant, they're all going to be connected and work together. This is the rails they're putting in place right now. Once it goes live and once they're ready, they will just flip the switch. This is exactly why Ripple is not fighting all these other stablecoins. They want many, many stablecoins out there. They don't really care how many there are. They know that they are the bridge between all of them. They will bridge all these CBDCs. They will bridge all these stable coins. That's why stable coins do not hurt RLUSD or XRP, because stable coins are the fuel, but XRP is the engine. USDC, EURC, PiUSD are booming, yes. But here's what most miss. They're stuck in local lanes. XRP opens the highway. Stablecoins are backed by banks. They're siloed. They're USD bound. They serve regions. XRP bridges them all. No issuer, no counterparty, no borders. If you're sending USDC from New York to Tokyo, XRP turns it into JPY in seconds without a middleman. That's not competition, that's unification. Once you realize XRP isn't fighting stablecoins, it's connecting them, the game looks much different. This is utility at infrastructure scale. The world's money is going global. XRP is already there. Comment down below if you see the bigger picture. Let me know what you think. Breaking, Ripple just dropped a new video. It's happening, my friends. Let's check it out.
There's a moment when potential becomes reality. When an idea moves from a concept to a new standard. The world of finance is at that moment. For decades, it has been built on legacy systems, closed borders, and delays. But the digital age demands something more. It demands instant value, universal access, and a system without friction. This is the power of digital assets. This is the promise of blockchain. And it's all happening with Ripple. We're in New York City, in the financial capital of the world, and we're moving swell to the heart of it all to continue building the future of global finance. One that's faster, more efficient, and more inclusive for everyone. And we're not building it alone. We are working with the world's most influential financial institutions, regulators, and visionary leaders from across the globe. You are at the center of this transformation, the catalyst that makes it all real. Welcome to New York City and the 9th annual Swell.
Pretty excited to see what announcements come from this Ripple Swell this year. I'm expecting some pretty big news. Ripple Swell 2025. RLUSD will be the stablecoin of choice. Every company will be settling with it. Fireside chat with David Ripley.
Your vendors, or you're moving your money around
because it's better, faster, cheaper.
Yeah.
But of course, you got to cross this threshold and get to these steps and get everything integrated. That's going to happen now. The same as it happened for kind of native crypto companies. It's not going to happen for base brokers, fintechs. All these other companies. They're going to be settling with RLUSD and everything else.
RLUSD did hit a 1 billion market cap in 1 year. I say that's pretty good if you ask me. And RLUSD is the most trusted stablecoin out there. Canary Capital CEO a few minutes ago at Ripple Swell. Looking forward to launching the XRP ETF next week. XRP supply stock loading. And with those generic listings for the ETFs now, Oh boy, just wait and see what happens. It's probably why they're crashing the market as we speak. Here we have David Schwartz breaking it down. The XRPL runs on smart transactors, not smart contracts. They're faster, cheaper, and more secure. We just need more of them.
That you would want to do with a smart contract, probably 80% of what you'd want to do with a smart contract, we do through smart transactors. But the downside is if you want to do something that can't be done with the existing transactors, just like a Bitcoin, like if you want to have collateralized lending on Bitcoin, Bitcoin doesn't have any way, the Bitcoin blockchain doesn't have any way to provide that smart contract capability. I would say think about the XRP Ledger as sort of somewhere between Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of functionality. In other words, it provides more functionality than Bitcoin, but not as much as Ethereum. But balanced against that is it's much faster, it's much cheaper, and it's also much more secure. I'm sure you've heard stories about people who agree to smart contracts and don't know what the smart contracts do. You don't have that problem. Like you can't use a DEX on Ethereum without interacting with a smart contract. You can't use an NFT without interacting with a smart contract. You don't need a smart contract. And so that means your tool understands all of the behavior of the DEX and all of the behavior of the blockchain because they're core blockchain functions. So it's not as flexible as Ethereum, but in exchange, faster, cheaper, and you have that higher level of security where you don't have to worry about a smart contract doing something you didn't anticipate.
Ripple was always about compliance first. That's why they haven't used their DEX that's on their XRPL. That's why they didn't have smart contracts in the beginning. They went compliance first, KYC, AML, and now these ZK proofs with DNA protocol. And last up, based on everything we witnessed over the last few years, it should be crystal clear to everyone by now that XRP Ledger is purpose-built for institutional finance.
Yeah, the sorts of concerns that they have. So I've had conversations in the past where it really seems that they're most familiar with something like the Bitcoin ledger, and that's what they're thinking about, and they're identifying why that couldn't be used for institutional finance. So I think many of us would agree with that assessment, but there is a growing appreciation, and this is very welcome, of the diversity of blockchains, and that some blockchains have been purpose built to address the sorts of concerns that regulators have. But I think the key challenge for us as an industry is actually one of educating regulators and central banks and making sure they have the expertise, the technical expertise that they need in order to be able to judge whether or not a particular blockchain delivers the sorts of outcomes that they are looking for. And that's I think it's that's a challenge for them, but it's also a challenge for us.
Well, that's what I have for you folks. Until next time, stay savvy, stay stacking, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and comment down below. And if you want more crypto deep dives, check out our videos right here on Crypto Meets AI. Thank you for watching. Remember to always do your own research. This is not financial advice.